slot into third potentially. Uriarte, yesterday's winner, in fourth, all cleanly through turn one.
Yes, and I don't think Morelli's going to make the same mistake. He goes on the inside, he doesn't.
In Mugello, really such another star, much like Brian Uriarte. Peroni sits fourth in the championship standings. He's just over 20 points.
Before you flick it left here, back to third gear, and then through this right-hander. There's two fast sections. That was the quickest, and then the
start to the race from Veda Ega. Said keep an eye on him. He's only lost one place from where he started on the grid so far. He was in sixth place. This is good stuff from the Italian. He's had a rotten run of luck this season and crossed both. We've been talking sort of, you can miss the fact that Morelli, he's off like a scolded cat there, a good few bike lengths back to Uriarte. As you say, he knows he can't let the Argentinian get away. A little bit behind Veda Ega here for the moment in 8th place.
He said he missed the gear on that final lap yesterday. That really spoilt his chances of
today, battling for third, near enough all the way to the line, but he's bogged down a little bit behind Veda Ega here for the moment in 8th place.
He said he missed the gear on that final lap yesterday. That really scored. I said, was that skill or luck that you saved that? A bit of skill and a bit of luck, he admitted. Right, you're on looking back now at the 50
bike lengths, but how much do they close in on him there at Holgerheide, one of the fastest sections of track that we visit on the entire Rookies Cup calendar. They've certainly caught him back up now. D2 stroke and he looked fine. Meanwhile, you got sort of Pedro Acosta-esque from his fellow Mercian, Alvaro Carpi, right behind him, leaning off so far, you can almost get his chin down. Right,
and so there is the 27 and the 11, in fact, Salmela and Moodley, Pratama behind them. Top six, Moodley, and the end of that top six, they've got away from Hakim Danish of Ega Pratama.
I think I've got a reason why that is, Peter. Yesterday's pace was relatively comparison to today, if I'm not mistaken, from the actual times in the PDF. Best race lap was actually from last year, Alvaro Carpe. 144
wasn't that quick yesterday. He certainly managed to go with Carpe and Morelli today, but it has stretched things. Not everybody can manage that pace, obviously. It's a very
Mella 143.9. This is why it's being strung out, Peter. They've done their homework overnight. Perhaps the conditions are contributing to this. You're seeing the fastest riders yesterday far more comfortable, really made off the front of that was Pugliese there, I think. Goodness me.
Yeah, that is, and of course they've realised that the six in front are disappearing, and they've got to go after it. And it's Argentina that leads 1 and 2, Morelli and Peroni.
This is really impressive from all these riders. They have stepped in this race.
Yeah, and we've just seen Daniel get a track limits warning. And as you say, you know, the pace is hotter, the track temperature is cooler. The track temperature is cooler. The wind direction is a little bit different. And I think somebody pulled the strip off there, off their radiator. You just saw a day glow thing.
Seen in Rookies Cup races, a bit of a breakaway group at the start before they were then reeled in by a chasing pack in the second half of the race. However, that normally requires there to be a real...
Yesterday, did he? He was, you know, there and thereabouts. Exactly. But he wasn't quite there. So, right with the front runners. And I think Ruche is hanging on that. He's got back in 6th place. Salmela, new race lap record. My goodness.
Well, that is actually quicker than they did for qualifying, pretty much, I believe. 140
now. I just wonder how it's going to shape out.
Got a battle for the final point between Guillaume Plong and Sullivan Mounsey. There's that he is leading that third group now then. He is leading that third group now then, because you've got positions 1 to 6 in the first group. The chasing pack is led by Pratama, and it goes all the way down to Ramersdorfer in 4th.
Yeah, you can see the Born Races series, a series of 6 programs that will fill the gap between now and
here we go then. So Ruche Moodley and Brian Uriarte just at the back of this group then. As we were looking at that replay, something must have happened there, that they've been fallen back somewhat into the off the back of this group, I should say.
Ebb and flow, I think, at the moment. Let's just, you know, as we said, Moodley was determined not to get
that previous group.
But Moodley and Ariati aren't a lot slow. It is just fractions. It'll be interesting to see just how it unfolds. We're now gone past half distance. There's Ariati's got past Ruchet, and he'll have his head down because he knows he can't really let this fall, because these four are not mucking each other up, are they?
No,
they're not being silly about it. That was, isn't it? So right. So now the time screen says Ariati they've closed, but only fractionally, the Ariati Moodley on the back of Somella. So they
Two-time winner so far this season.
That's right.
Same goes for Carpe and Peroni, mind you.
5 different winners in the first 7 races. So it is still Marco Morelli that
Peroni last time and Uriarte were just a bit quicker, but we're talking thousandths of a second. Carpe shaking his head there. I wonder if he's getting a little bit frustrated, perhaps.
Moodley and Ariati, there's no way they are holding anything in reserve. If they can't keep in terms with this leading quartet, it's because they're absolutely maxed out. He's got his head down now. He's going to get back on terms.
It can get sometimes, but just what you're witnessing here is just riders absolutely on their limit, taking everything they've learned this season so far, doing a bit of hope.
Slow-mo, that beautiful stuff, isn't it? As you say, you know, the contrasting styles of these guys. We've got Pratama has got a track limits warning. Not too many of those so far. Daniel
Veda yang tampil impresif selama balapan tak menyerah hingga kemudian posisi kelima ia amankan untuk meraih 11 poin yang merupakan torehan tertingginya sejauh ini. Saya senang dengan balapan hari ini, namun saya kurang beruntung, kata Veda, dilansir dari laman resmi Red Bull Rookies Cup. Di tikungan pertama pada lap terakhir, seseorang menabrak saya dan saya terdorong keluar, namun saya beruntung karena tidak terjatuh, lanjutnya. Saya berusaha keras di lap terakhir itu dan finish di posisi kelima, jadi saya senang dengan itu, tambahnya. Pembalap asal Gunung Kidul, Daerah Istimewa Yogyakarta itu mengatakan setelan motornya masih belum sempurna pada balapan kali ini. Pembalap asal Indonesia, Veda Ega Pratama kembali menunjukkan potensinya di ajang Red Bull Rookies Cup 2024. Pembalap muda Indonesia berhasil menempati posisi ke-8 klasemen sementara dengan total 39 poin. Meski masih tertinggal 71 poin dari pemuncak klasemen, Veda memiliki peluang untuk memperbaiki posisinya di seri-seri selanjutnya. Posisi ke-8 bukanlah hasil yang buruk bagi Veda, mengingat dia merupakan pendatang baru di Red Bull Rookies Cup. Kemampuannya untuk beradaptasi dengan cepat dan bersaing dengan pembalap-pembalap terbaik Unia menunjukkan potensi besar yang dimilikinya. Seri Asen yang akan datang menjadi peluang bagi Veda untuk kembali menunjukkan performa terbaiknya dan bahkan meraih podium. Veda memiliki kemampuan dan tekad yang kuat untuk bersaing di papan atas. Meski peluang Veda untuk meraih podium di Asen terbilang cukup berat, bukan berarti hal itu tidak mungkin. Apalagi jika melihat performa Veda di seri-seri sebelumnya. Pembalap muda Veda Ega Pratama jadi satu-satunya perwakilan pembalap Indonesia yang mengikuti kejuaraan Red Bull Rookies Cup 2024. Pembalap muda Indonesia, Veda Ega Pratama tidak takut bertarung di baris depan. Ia harus cepat adaptasi dengan motor KTM RC 125 yang beda karakter dari Honda NSF 250R yang dipakai di Asia Talent Cup. Hingga race Red Bull Rookies Cup yang telah berlangsung, Veda Ega Pratama berhasil mengumpulkan lebih dari 30 poin.